Hello and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I am Deanna. It is great to see you. Let me put on my glasses so I can see you. Welcome back to Cocktail Time. It is great to see you. I don't know how long tonight's show will be. I will explain everything in the very near future, but I wanted to log on to do as much as I could tonight and to say hello to everybody. I am in a lot of pain still, weeks in, and I am in a lot of pain. So I am doing my best to think and function, but it has not been easy at all. Still, happy Friday night. Great to see you. I'm going to have some wine, which I know is naughty because I'm on medication, but I'm still doing it, right? It's extra naughty because I hardly ever do it. And I'm going to say cheers, my dears, and it's great to see you. You have to cut me some slack because my brain is not working at all. But first, before we get into content and this month's Rug Cooking Magazine, bi-monthly magazine, right? And on the cover is my very good friend Rebecca's Compass Rose. You know, I've been shooting my mouth off about this all over the place because I love Rebecca so much, and I'm so excited that this was on the cover. And I knew it was coming, but we weren't going to say anything yet because she likes it when it's a big surprise, so I kept my mouth shut. But it was hard because knowing that her work was turning up on the cover in the near future was very exciting. So Melanie, it is great to see you. Hello. Let me do cheers, my dears. I didn't do this first. Need a little medicine. Whew. We'll talk about pain. Believe me, we'll talk about pain. And not so much that it's boring, but I have to preface this episode by saying, for those of you who are new, because I know a lot of people have been coming new to our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club, just so you all know, we do like 3 live shows a week. Do we do 3? Yeah, we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And often there are other live, pre-recorded shows or how-tos or whatever that are peppered in throughout the week. But since I'm the person who does the videos, if you are new, it hasn't been happening lately because I've been having a major problem with nerves that is insanely and exquisitely painful. So I am just very shut down lately, and I know that we will soon be back again at a place where pain is under control and I can do shows as we always have, and maybe even more since I am coming to the end of the book project at last. But tonight won't be a typical show because typically everything is lined up perfectly. I have a lot of slides on the computer to show. We go through things together and look together, and it's a lot of fun. And it will be a lot of fun still, but normally I run a 2-hour show on Friday, and it's electric with positive energy and inspiration. I'm going to do the best I can tonight, but it won't be a typical show, I'm afraid. But hopefully sooner rather than later, we will return to all typical shows filled with energy and inspiration, encouragement and fun, all of the stuff that we normally do. So we're going to do some catching up tonight. It's been a long time since I've been live. And we're going to look at the Rug Cooking Magazine that just arrived for me the day before yesterday. I don't know about you, but I have to start by saying, Melanie, great to see you in cool and cloudy Washington State. See, that lifted my mood right there, Melanie, when you said, I'm having a rum 7-Up and peppermint schnapps. That boosted things. Something inside me just clicked. All of the whatever endorphins or whatever just went, ooh, that sounds amazing. It sounds a little bit holiday too, right? Not that I want to talk about the holidays because we're still squarely in summer, but my guys are going back to school on Monday, right? Teddy and Jocelyn are going back on Monday. That makes me super sad because we haven't ticked everything off of our summertime list that Teddy made. We made in bed together at the beginning of the summer. And was not a moth. It was just a little summertime bug. But we got almost there. All things considered, we were almost there. But it does make me sad when summer ends and they go back to school because then they are with someone else for most of the day. And it's not their mom. And I'm not a fan. I know it's the way life is, right? The hamster wheel. It's just going to keep turning whether they're on it or not. And they better be on it if they plan to have a life in the future. Deborah, great to see you. Her drink sounds very good. You've only shredded wheat cereal. But that sounds great too. If it's what you're hungry for, it sounds very fresh and very good. You need to get to the store and you're popping a cork with champagne. It sounds like a lot of fun. Cat's Gallery, great to see you. So glad to see everyone again. You might have a beer later. It's only 4 p.m. in Southern California. Yeah, I'm so sorry it's been so long, everybody. It's really been pressing sort of on my mind and on my heart and on everything because this is such a great time that we have together, and it's such a great platform, and we're together so often, and to suddenly be disconnected for quite a while was really hard on me too. It has simply been so painful that I have felt like I cannot concentrate, you know. And right before the show, I was sleeping, and I woke up and just logged on, and boom. But I mean, I'm just sleeping a lot. And when I'm not sleeping, I'm trying to get orders out. The advent calendars are all shipping by tomorrow. I ordered the wrong bags to put them in because my brain is not working. Completely my fault. They should all get there in time. And for those of you who have ordered the advent calendar, just so you know, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about the advent calendar. Try to stay focused. Keep me focused. Um, the thing with the advent calendar is it is 30 days of bags, and it's lots of treasures. It's, if you got my advent calendar for last winter, right, the Christmas or sorry, holiday advent calendar last Christmas, it was lots of fun, but this is different. And I realized I shouldn't have called it an advent calendar. I should have called it a project box, because it really, it's 30 bags of supplies that you can use, right? If you want to just add them to your stash and do a little bit of hoarding that way, a little bit of everything. But there are a dozen projects in the box that we do together. So I will do like pre-recorded shows, and some things I'll be live, and we'll work on specific projects together. There are, I want to say, four. I think there's at least 4 original patterns that are in this box that are exclusive to the fall box, that are fall/Halloween stuff. And it's projects that we'll do together. So there are tons of, I have a little bit right here. I don't have much. This is my leftover stuff. There are days with this, we're still calling it Autumn Advent Calendar, and I think I will decide to do it seasonally, and we'll do a project box for every season that comes loaded with supplies. The thing I want to say about this is until about day, I want to say 5 or 6, there isn't a project. Right, so we have like a little bit of lead-in time where you open a few things first, and then boom, first project comes, and everything is recorded. So if you're not there to work on the project with me on the day that that bag is opened, because they're all numbered, so it goes sequentially, and 1 through 30, it doesn't matter, because as soon as you are back to your bag and you open something, you can pick it up. Or if you're thinking, oh, I'm just not in the mood for this kind of a project right now, you can go back to it later because it's all recorded. So there's a bunch of projects, like I showed you this project with the felt balls, right? All of these little felt balls. I got a ton of autumny colors of these guys, right? Let me see if I can show you. Super pretty. There's like, I want to say 8 or 9 different colors of these balls, and we're going to be sewing them together into one of those super contemporary rugs with a needle. I'm going to use a doll's needle, but I'll tell you before each project what supplies you might need, what supplies are best, what supplies will work, right, in case you have something similar at home. The point is not to go out and buy more stuff, right, because there's a lot of stuff in the advent calendar. And then we've got stuff like, I've got a bunch of these dyed sari chiffons, right? So this is specifically for this project that doesn't have a name, but it's a project we'll do together. This is not the right configuration. This is one of the projects. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to see a spoiler alert, close your eyes now. But there's going to be a project that we do with an owl like this that you'll cut out, Edward Sands Frost style, place him in the middle of your piece, and then you can cut out these little houses and these little sort of fence posts, right? Where are they? Over here. And the idea is you're gonna stencil him in, and then you're gonna draw him based on this, because you have this paper in one of your bags. You cut him out like a stencil. You place him on whatever backing you have, right? Whether you punch it, whether you hook it, whether you're quilting, doing something applique, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever you're doing, you still need lines in a drawing, right? So you'll cut him out and put him on, and then we can cut out these, and I'll do this together with you, and I'm going to place them around him in like a little country setting, and I'm going to hook him with the sari ribbon that's kind of this beigey, pinky, it's actually a lot of browns and dark purples in there, but very, very pale. And then I'm probably for myself going to hook all the farm buildings behind him in primary colors, like lots of reds, lots of maroon, but also maybe some blues, a little bit of yellow, like quite unexpected colors for me. And then I'm going to fill it in with the fence post. So there's quite a few projects in this set, right, in the Autumn Advent Calendar, that are projects that we'll do together that I'll walk you through, right, that have a sort of idea. I'll give you the idea, and if you like the idea, you use the idea just the way it is. But if you think, "Ooh, I can do better than that," then you use whatever you have, materials, drawing, and you just cannibalize it and make it more into the perfect idea for you. But there's quite a few projects that work like that. There's another one here. I won't do another spoiler alert, but it's called Foxglove Bouquet. A bit Halloweeny because you know foxglove is a poisonous flower, so that's a bit spooky and Halloweeny. And then I have these two guys. I can show these to you. This is a spin on Mr. Jack. That's a pattern that's been in the Ribbon Candy Hooking Store, and this is Mrs. Jill, right? So these are two like jack-o'-lantern patterns, and you choose between one of them because a bunch of the bags that you have little bits of like yarn, novelty yarns, sari ribbons, all kinds of different materials, and more than you can use. But the idea is that you're using all of those materials, and you blow it up or you draw these in because you can see they're gridded. You choose which one you want to do, or maybe you want to do both because you have enough supplies to do both. And you're literally filling in the background with whatever materials you have. Cut up t-shirts, cut up wool skirts, cut up jackets, sweaters, cut sweaters that you cut with a pair of scissors, and you're using all of the materials. There's tons of material in the bag that's like purples and oranges and dark kind of moody colors, traditional colors that you can do all these lamb's tongues with. So it's a bit of a sampler project, and you choose either or both. And then there's stuff like, and then I have little poems that are in some of the bags and stuff, cute poems, that kind of thing. And then there's a project that has four, and this is another spoiler alert, four squares like this. I can only reach one right now in my my arm is like electrically charged with pain. That's why I'm trying not to use it. My fingertips. Has anybody had this before? It's like a stupid nerve thing, and I'm not going to talk about this the whole show, I'm telling you, but it started in the back of my neck while I was working on the book, because do you remember how I said until I get the second book done, I just can't do live shows because I can't think I have got to get it done? Well, I'm still not done. I have 2 more chapters. I had 6 left, and I did 4 in the last few days, and I have 2 more. That's really one day's work. It's not writing them, it's refining them and adding choosing where the photos sit and all that stuff, and naming the photos like in a standardized way with decimals, and it's a lot of brain work. But the thing was, when I sat down to work on it, right, I started typing again on the computer, and I started to get this thing in my neck, and it went down from my neck to my shoulders, which feels great. When you have shoulder pain, that's a gem, right? Every time. And then it traveled pretty quickly down my arm, and felt like I'd had like 75 COVID shots in this arm. It was so sore I couldn't touch it. And then it traveled down to my forearm, and now it's been in my hand for about 3 weeks, where I feel like Frankenstein. Like I feel like I'm touching all 5 fingers to a light socket and just keeping it there, like licking them and then touching them. And it's just incredible. It never goes away, not even overnight while I'm trying to sleep. So lots of makeup happening right here, but it's just incredible. It must be a nerve thing, and because so many of you have asked, and this is not normal content for those of you who are new, but because so many of you have asked, and you know that I am always with you, and I'm always right here, and very, very few situations can take me away from our time together. This one surprised me. But what happened was I pulled something in my neck from sitting on the computer for so many days trying to type and finish the book. And once it started, there was like no way to stop it, and I didn't know because I've never had this happen before. So I just kept working on the book, and I wasn't making the association that the pain from my whatever neck and nerves and whatever was coming from doing this particular action. And then I did figure it out, and then it was too late because I was in wild pain. But I've seen the doctor twice in the last 10 days. And I have physical therapy coming up, and of course they won't set that appointment up unless you actually tell them that your head is hanging on by a thread. So I have an appointment like in a month to start that, but I have exercises and stuff to do at home, which I guess are helping. It's hard to say that they're helping when I'm still in so much pain, and I am on meds and all that stuff. But it's a lot of pain, and he's sending me for some nerve tests to figure out why this pain is abating, but this is still electric and all night long. So curious about what that might be, and not very tempted to Google it, right? Because I'll come up with something crazy and scary, and I'll never sleep again. But so that's what's going on here, and I do plan to finish the book project over the weekend, and to be back with regular shows. My one worry is that I'm not able to spend a lot of time entering data. You know, all the shows that I set up with all the slides, that's all computer work, and as soon as I get on there with my two hands, it's super painful. So that's what I'm worried about more than anything. But we can only play it by ear and see how it goes. And I have lots of other content that we can do together that doesn't involve tons of slides. If you remember, it took me a couple of years to figure out how to do the slides, right? That technology is just a sort of above and beyond my mental capacity. It took me a couple of years to figure it out in the first place, and we did fine without it. So we'll see how far I can get. I think it's going to be a bit of a moving target, and I think it's going to be different from day to day. Don't tell me anything scary, because I honestly can't handle it. It's been so much lately. It's been so much. So, oh, one of the other things I'm working on, right, is a bunch cutting. I cut you each 4 different colorful wools, and then I sent you each 4. I had a Sistrix cutter before, cutting the strips with the old tattered flag, and I cut a bunch of pumpkins, and I gave you each 4 different pumpkins cut out of different wools and flannels, and we're going to do like a little wool applique project with whatever pumpkins you have. So you have 4 mismatched ones, and you have 4 mismatched backings, and we're going to sew them together as a project too, to do like a bit of a little Andy Warhol pop art mismatched pumpkins. And I'm even going to go so far as to applique onto the faces to create 4 different jack-o'-lantern faces, but a nice traditional sewing project. So I want to say this might be the only, well, 2 sewing projects, including the felt ball thing. There's still a lot of hooking projects, slash pumpkin punching projects in here, lots of pumpkin projects too. But it's a really mixed bag, and there's only a few left. So if you don't have it, I would definitely get it, right? Because it's at least 30 bags worth of supplies, and it's going to be at least a dozen projects that we work on together, that you can do this year, next year, throughout the year, whatever. But lots of different techniques. Hocus focus, right? The focus is on techniques for the month of September, and just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and this has been like one of the happinesses of lately, has been working on the advent calendars. It is a lot of work, and it is hard going, but I'm really enjoying making them, because, you know, each time I close up a bag and I go, okay, I have enough of those, a whole other set done, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a great project, right? I anticipate feeling better. This is going to be a great project for us to do together. I can't wait to do it. These are really different projects for me too. So a real break away from the norm, and real intense working together on new techniques for a whole month is really what I want to do right now. So that's what's coming at you if you've ordered. If not, the link to the advent calendar should be in this, once these, in the body of this video under the description. Once these are done, I won't be making any more of these. It's just way too labor intensive, right? 30 bags of things is a lot, and it is a great bargain, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that you've got yours. Melissa says, sneaking in an Agatha Raisin before the notification. You know, I've been watching those, and I love them so much. I read them years ago, right? Years ago. And it's very different. The character on the British mystery series, Agatha Raisin, she's very unexpected. She's so beautiful, right? And she's so chic, right? Very unexpected compared to the way that the literary character is drawn. And the thing is, for some reason, the way that I've been watching it, I don't know if I'm watching it on Hulu or Acorn. I think I'm watching it on Acorn. They're out of order. They're like fatally out of order, because I saw some terrible spoiler stuff with the guy next door that I should not have seen. And now I'm like really leery about watching them, because I'm afraid I'm going to get more awful spoilers. And I don't remember the stories, because I read them when they came out, and I was in college then when they started coming out. So I must have been in my 20s, 30s, 20s. I was in my 20s in college. I was in college for a long time, many times, but it was 20s. That was a long time ago, and I just don't remember the endings. So I'm anxious to get back to those two. Super, super fun. Cheers, my dears. Kirsten, happy cocktail time. You made it. Great to see you. Pamela, happy Friday. Everyone, looking forward to tonight's discussion. It's hot there. It's hot here too. I thought it like lifted a little bit, and it's slamming back in. So iced tea there will be your cocktail for tonight. Mom, good to see you again. I just left my mom's this morning with the kids. from Cool and Gray Granby. Yeah, it was a great day today, but it's muggy as all hell. I don't know how those two things can ever go together, but they do. I'm not going to complain about the weather with everything that's going on in California, Hawaii. It's a crazy world right now. We're not going to talk about news, that's for sure. But it's a crazy world. Do you have a cocktail, Mom? Whoop, whoop. Carol P., great to see you. You're going to watch it later. Just wanted to check in. Greetings from Wisconsin. Great to see you, and I can't wait to see you. Melanie said, it's only 4 there in Washington, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's it. Jimmy Buffett said it, right? We can live by those wise words. Pamela says, I'll put in 20 minutes of hooking on my Table Rock mountain rug before starting. Hello, everybody in Liberty, South Carolina. Karen, great to see you. Hello, everybody. Cheers, my dears, in Black Forest, Colorado. Cheers, my dears, Karen. Karen was kind enough to tell me yesterday, some of you were messaging me, I was unconscious at the time, that some jerk on the internet in some faraway place was using the image for Split Bloom Garden, my mini punch piece, on a t-shirt without asking, right? Without, do I have to even say without asking? It goes without being said, right? They were using it without permission, and nothing you can really do about it, because by the time you find them, chase them, report them, they've already closed their account. They've already collected some money. They've closed their account, and they are busy with opening another account. So it's like tiger by the tail, you know. And it is so low on my list of priorities right now. It totally wound me up. Don't get me wrong. It wound me up really good. But when I realized there's nothing that you can do about it, and for all of our conversations that we have, particularly with rug making about copyright, I'll tell you what, when someone is using your thing and they don't have the right to use it, there's not much you can do other than like sue them or spend money to take it somewhere legally. There's not a lot that you can do. It's frustratingly little that you can do when someone's using one of your images on a t-shirt and not telling you that they're using it. What a gem, huh? All right, let's see. Juliet, I'm so glad I'm back too. I know I'm going to be feeling better and better as time goes on. It's not my best day today, I have to admit. Maybe you can feel that, but I'm full of as much love and excitement as always. And during this sort of very low time, I've had a million ideas for things I want to do next. So it's not like we're slowing down. It's like we are about to ramp up at great speed. And I have been getting orders out. I have been getting things out. I'm not late with anything right now. So it's just been hard. It's been hard. And I know a lot of you write and say, oh, I wish I lived closer to you so I could help. And I think, oh God, I wish you did too. Oh God, I wish you did. Because it's a lot lately. But you know I'll come back to normal soon. I'll come back, Phoenix from the ashes, and everything will be at least as electric as it used to be, and then some, because the book will be done. And Melanie says, I've been beading to, oh my gosh, Melanie, you are so crazy. You do those tens of thousands of beads. It's impossible. You're beading today, only 35 more rows to go on Starry Night. That is a mammoth, Titanic-sized project. Hope you're going to send that in for gallery night. We will have gallery night next Friday night. Wait, let me just check my phone. Hang on, let me just check my phone. Before I say that, let me just check. My brain is not working and I don't trust myself. Next Friday night, gallery night. That will be September the 1st. So we will do that. Make sure you're sending in your images. I already have a bunch in the show for next Friday night, gallery night, right? That's one of our great nights. My hand can't hold stuff. Have you had that before? You put something in it and it just drops. I'm stopping. It's not interesting at all. It's just a hell of a thing. Linda H., great to see you in rainy Massachusetts. I'm still so happy to see you. We'll share the rain together. It's raining here too. Linda B., hello and cheers, my dears in New Jersey. Great to see you. Chrissy, great to see you. Glad we're back. You're cheering with wine coolers. That sounds perfect. That sounds perfect. Just catching up on your... no, I won't overdo, Pamela. I won't. I have overdone. I have to admit, I have overdone. When I told the doctor that I'm going to see, his name is Tom Brady. Right? And I'm not a sports person, but I do know that name. And I thought, oh, Tom Brady, that sounds like somebody famous. I thought, oh yeah, he's like a baseball player, a football player, or something like that. And he's quite good looking, isn't he? So when the girl said, she called me back about an appointment. She said, oh, I can set you up with Tom Brady. And I said, oh. And, I'm sure she goes through this all the time when people are putting it together in their heads. And I went, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, great. Well, I would love to have an appointment with Tom Brady. And she said, oh, yeah, you would. And she said, he's like as handsome as the real Tom Brady. And he's older. He's very distinguished, Very handsome man. She said, "Oh yeah, you want an appointment with him? Believe me." He's just been great, super knowledgeable. It's like it's sports medicine. What the place, I'm at Yale. I go to Yale, but it's sports medicine that we're talking about because of this crazy injury. And he's at the point where he's trying to figure out. This is the last thing I'm going to say about this stupid injury. But he's at the point where he's like, he saw the X-ray. He's like, yeah, there's something wrong with your neck. You definitely pulled something. There's something wrong at the bottom of your neck. That's a to be continued. You have arthritis in your both of your arms, but this one especially from being underneath and hooking, right? My non-dominant arm, you think it would be in your dominant hand, but for me as a hooker, with my hand under there twisting stuff all the time, that's way more labor intensive and stressful on my hands than the hand that just does this, right? Boop, boop, boop. And the one under here is like twisting and turning and feeding. So we knew those two things, but he said what it sounds like with the nerve thing is like carpal tunnel. I know that's what some of you are thinking, right? He said, but what are the chances that you would both have a problem in your neck, which we can see on the x-ray and isn't up for grabs, like that's there, and carpal tunnel, right? It's like, he said, the chance of having two things in the same 2 weeks, it's not impossible, but it's very improbable. So he said he doesn't think it's that, and I'm really glad that he doesn't think it's that, because this might be something that we can manage a lot easier. That's the last I'm saying on that subject. April, good evening, good to see you. Definitely feeling better than a week or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. Definitely feeling better. Still in a lot of pain, but it's more manageable now. Ryan, great to see you. Happy Friday night from hot North Texas. Hard cider. I wonder how your projects are going. I've been looking forward to hearing from you. I know you're always working on something great. You're finishing dyeing some wool today. Peace and love to all. I love it when you say that. April said, so good to see you again. So sorry you're still in pain. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure it'll pass. It's not the worst, is it? It's definitely not the worst. I keep reminding myself, this is not the worst pain, right? There are people who are in way worse situations with literally deadly, lethal type pain, completely unmanageable pain. I'm in a moderate amount of pain all the time, but I am not in unmanageable, insane pain, right? I'm functioning and I'm talking to you and I'm sitting up. And yeah, I take quite a few naps every day, but besides that, I'm up and I'm moving around and I'm doing stuff with the kids and I'm getting orders out. So I really should not be complaining at all. I've been healthy my whole life, and I'm 51, and I have never had anything like this. So it came as a bit of a shock. I don't want to start crying, but it came as a bit of a shock to me that I could be, that there could be something wrong. And I got heavily scolded for the way that I've been carrying on for such a long time with busyness. And Tom Brady said to me, like, how is your week going? And I said, well, it's been going good. And I saw the exercises that I was given, and I saw how it said, like, on the top of the sheet, don't do the exercises if it's super painful. And it was super painful, but I went ahead and did them. And he rolled his eyes. He rolled his beautiful dark eyes, and he said, he's like, what are you thinking? And I'm thinking, well, that it's not very finite, right? When something says don't do it if it's super painful, that wasn't the language, right, for a Yale document. I'm thinking, well, my painful is different than your painful, right? Maybe I'm being a baby. Maybe this isn't painful at all. Maybe it's a means to an end, right? And I have to cross this bridge to get to the other side, which is like being pain-free again. So it's very hard to tell, right? It's very hard to tell. So I said, it's not like I'm being naughty and I'm trying to accelerate the healing. It's that I literally don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's not clear at all. Everything hurts, so it's not clear at all. I'm just figuring it out as I go along and taking naps when I can't handle it anymore. Jane, you're awake, you naughty girl. It's 12:30 over there. You should be asleep right now. Sending so much love. I know you always give me tons of love and support. Sending it right back to you. Just catching up. Ann Ledger, great to see you. Thank you so much. I am super done talking about it. I'm super sorry. Country Gal, hello in Wisconsin. Beautiful day there. Great to see you. Bonnie, great to see you. You're pulling for you, sending hugs, and thank you. I really need to hear that. It gives me extra, superhuman strength. Pain is that's what it is. It's exhausting. Pain is so exhausting. That's why I've been napping so much, and I am not a napper. Joy, good to see you. Welcome back. Joy, I forgot to wish Courtney a happy birthday the other day. I'm such a jerk. I was thinking, don't forget to wish her a happy birthday. Courtney is Joy's sister, and I forgot to wish her a happy birthday. Barbara, great to see you. Happy Friday from Toronto. Very happy to see you. Cindy, good to see you in person. It is me. It's not pre-recorded. I'm right here. I'm right here and I'm sitting up. I'm not standing up tonight, but I am sitting up tonight. Dave, great to see you. Spiked cocoa and PB on toast. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that sounds civilized. That sounds like something that I would want right now. That sounds fantastic. You always have the best num-nums and the best drinks. Mom, you're having a Gibson, always a favorite. Oh, always a classic. Ryan, they are still available. There should be, as far as I know, they are available. So if you go into the store and they say 0, that would be bad. But there should be a few left, as far as I know. I actually restocked during the being sick time. I put a few more in because I saw I had materials to do it, and I saw they were flying. So I've restocked once, and I'm really at the end of materials now. So I think that they're still available, and I hope that they're still available. Lily, great to see you. Miss you too. I've really missed being here. Just checked website. Okay, great, Ryan. Hopefully they're there. They are there, right? There's still some in stock. Sharon, hello in Vancouver. Great to see you. And Ryan says, that's why I made my first hooked piece. I remember that you used the supplies from the December Advent calendar, and you did a whole project out of it. That was exciting for me, too. And that's really, Ryan, what gave me the idea for this Advent calendar. And from now on, I am calling them project boxes, because it's more than a calendar. It's like, it's a bunch of different projects. When I have a dozen projects in mind in 1 month, that's a lot of projects. And when I'm putting together the materials for them, it's not complete materials for every project, but it's the main thing. It's the prestige in every project that you're going to get in the calendar. It's the odd material that we're using or practicing together that you get in every calendar. So you gave me that idea, right? I probably owe you some money. You gave me that idea, and it was a great idea. Oh, Pamela, your sister has it. She has it under control, but it's not pleasant for sure. Yeah, I'm just wondering overall, like what it looks like, from year to year. If I can look forward to this kind of pain a certain amount of weeks or months a year. That's a hard thing to come to terms with. It is what it is, right? It is what it is, but I'd like to think that I can defeat it. I said to him, what about if I went to do yoga and stuff once I'm like pain-free and I'm not leaning on an arm that can't support me and an hand that just lets go of stuff? What about after that? Could I go do yoga and stuff? And this is just passing information on in case you know anybody that's in this kind of crazy health crisis. He said, yeah, you can do yoga, and that's always going to help a lot. With flexibility and all that, but he said the most important thing is to work on core strength. And I haven't been working on core strength because I haven't been taking care of myself, because I've been going full throttle for 3 years ever since the company started. And I haven't been taking care of myself at all. I keep thinking, short-term thinking, once I'm done with this project, then I'll have time. Once I'm done with this project, everything is being on some weird bridge and trying to cross it, and realizing, yeah, I just crossed it, but I'm on another bridge, right? It's all chutes and ladders. It's not, I still don't have time, and I just keep going and going and going, and then you get sick, right? Then you hit a wall and you have a health crisis. So, and I know many of you said this to me, you're going to have a health crisis, and I kept saying, shh, you don't know what you're talking to. I am the original bionic woman. No, now I'm having a health crisis. I wish I would have listened better, I'll tell you. Sharon says, you've had SI joint pain. A good physiotherapist makes a difference. Well, I'm looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to being someone who can really see what hurts, where it hurts, and figure out how to target it. I just wish they would take you before you were, had tears in your eyes when you called. Like if they would take you before you were suffering that much, it would be incredible. Everybody's got problems, right? Melanie says, I have one damaged nerve in my back that affects my left thigh. Fully understand. That sounds like a tricky one, too. All I could think about when the doctor was talking to me was that illustration of Leonardo. I can't put my hand out all the way, but the Da Vinci, right? Is it The Flying Man, that one? Where he's got his arms out, the famous sketch of Leonardo da Vinci. And how that's so often used to describe how, I'm thinking of the hip bone's connected to the thigh bone or whatever, but it's not that. It's the nerves that are connected to other nerves. I keep thinking about that and realizing, yeah, this is a known thing. I should have been looking at a little bit more. Courtney, happy belated birthday. I am so sorry. I am such a jerk. I didn't log on the day that it was your birthday, and I meant to log on and say happy birthday to you. I was thinking about you and sending lots of love. Neuropathy, they call it. Pamela, I don't even know that word yet. I haven't even gotten that far. Isn't that crazy? Oh, man. All right. Well, it's good to get in. This is where I get my information. I trust you all more than I trust a Google search, I'll tell you. More experience here. Lily says, see a neurologist. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense because neurologist is nerves, isn't it? We're not there yet. I'm still with the sports doctor, but I bet that's going to be my next move. Um, can you just do punch with Advent calendar? So Lily, with 90% of what you have, you can do punch. It's a lot of novelty stuff, so you would need to have the regular punch as opposed to the fine punch because the novelty stuff is often really thick. Let me grab a couple of the spools. Hold on one second. Let me grab some of the stuff that's in your box to show you. There's a lot of the fun for Mr. Jack and Mrs. Jill, the two pumpkin heads. Those are more fun novelty things, tons and tons of them. But then I bought a bunch of these kinds of spools. These are for weaving, right, where you get like the boucle yarn and the bright orange. These are some of the materials that are in there. And stuff like this, right? Lots of different weights. This is quite thick. This is what I call toe tickle yarn, right? I cut some of this off, not the ones that I sent you. And I tickled Jocelyn's toes between her toes with it at night to put her to sleep. It knocks her right out. Toe tickle yarn, but it's like all these pretty, I've got the light on me, but you know it's evening here. There's some browns, there's some reds in it too. So the thing is with many of the yarns, they are different thicknesses, right? Stuff like this, different thicknesses. I'm way to the bottom of some of these. These were all giant spools when I started doing the calendar. But there's lots of different weights. So with stuff like this, a regular punch should be able to punch most of it. And then there's wool in there too. There's pistachio colored wool for a project. Spoiler alert, earmuffs if you don't want to hear. There's a project in there that will be hooking with a scarf, with a giant scarf that's in these beautiful autumn colors, like oranges, yellows, tomato red, indigo blue, browns and blacks, like very unusual palette. We're hooking in the background with that, and then it's a simple pumpkin, a pistachio colored pumpkin, because remember how much we were talking about how popular the blue and pistachio colored pumpkins are. So I dyed some pistachio colored wool. It's quite a lot of wool, so that you can complete that piece between the scarf that you're cutting up and the pistachio wool. That's going to make a nice finished piece, but like the scarf is not going to go through a punch needle, so that one won't work for that either. But there's lots of different, I got lots of different spools and things of different thicknesses, so there's lots of fun things. Most of your bags have multiple 2 or 3 good lengths, like 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 9 yards. When you have thicker stuff, I'm giving you way more yardage for each piece, because I want you to be able to go some good distance with it. It's not like a little sampler where you get like 1 yard of each thing. It's a good amount of everything. And I already have projects in mind, right? So that if you like the projects at all, you know exactly what you mean to do with them. And if you'd rather have the stuff for your stash and just say, I'm going to keep the patterns for when I feel like it, and have the stuff in your stash, that's fine. But it is like a month of, if you see the stuff and you go, this is so pretty, but what should I do with it? I've already figured that out. That was part of the plan with the calendar, and it will be seasonally as we do this 4 times a year, because I think it is just the best way to work on projects together when we're working with exactly the same designs, right? And the whole thing comes in these little burlap bags too that are colorful, that you should be able to reuse as well. Joe, great to see you. Hugs from the Village of Peace in Nova Scotia. Great to see you. Joe the Flower Guy rugs. Joe's beautiful rugs patterns are currently on Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm hoping the link to that part of the Ribbon Candy Hooking shop is currently still in the description of this video. I haven't altered the description because I haven't been online at all. Joyce, happy Friday. I am back. Great to see you. Joe, you are having white wine, looking at crab apple jelly. Oh my God. Pickled beets and other canned goods, and watching you. That sounds phenomenal. God, I loved canned goods. I love everything in a can and a jar. It really is the best, isn't it? To me, it's the height of sophistication to sit with wine or beer or a cocktail and have all these like little jars of different things open. Oh, that is such a lot of fun. Such a lot of fun. Lily says, you look phenomenal. Thank you. It's a lot of makeup, I'll tell you. I'm not really looking that good at all, but thank you. I appreciate it. Judy, great to see you. And Van Stewart, hi, hello. I missed you too. I am back, and I will stay back. I will stay back. Even if I can't run hugely long shows, I will stay back. I will do the best that I can, because I need to get back into my routine or I'm going to really lose it. I am starting physical therapy, but not for a couple of weeks. I think they said first opportunity is September 14. Doesn't seem that soon, right? Seems like there's a lot of pain days between now and then. So it is what it is. I got this, Cindy. I got this. I've been saying that to myself a lot. Thank you. I do. And in a weird way, it'll probably be easier when the kids go back to school, because as much as I love being with them, it's a lot. I feel that super guilty tug to like bring them places and do stuff because it's their summer and they don't have nerve problems. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with them and it's really hard. I was out with them last night. I just had tears in my eyes. This crazy place watching them with like do go-karts and stuff, and I was just like swaying in pain thinking, why am I here? Why am I here? But I'm here because they want to do stuff and they deserve to do stuff. But I think it will get a little bit easier once that is done. And as I say, I am on the last, I am doing the sort of corrections and the footnotes and all of the technical writing and inserting photo placement for the last 2 chapters of the first Design Like book. So that will have 15 chapters in it. I will tell you more about that another time, but that is just about getting wrapped up. And I can't go any further with that. I am definitely at 150 pages for that book, which is what Rug Cooking Magazine wants. And a lot of the stuff that I've been working on, a lot of my stuff is cut. A lot of the projects are cut from this book, but they will be in the second book that'll be right behind it. So don't worry about that. Sorry I couldn't fit everybody's amazing work into the same book, but at a certain point I couldn't write any more chapters. Right? That was a big part of it, was I couldn't sit and write any more chapters. And the book is already more than complete. I'm really hoping for no cuts at all and that it just goes out the way it is, because I have, I think, truly honored all of the projects that are in this first book. And it's not that some are better than others. It's just what I have finished, when I got this stuff, and how quickly I was able to work before I was struck with this problem. But that's coming together very soon too. And hopefully that will still be coming out right about January of 2024, so fairly soon. So something else to look forward to. Anita, great to see you. Thank you, Anita. Sending best wishes and praying for your health again. Thank you so much. I can definitely use it. I will take it, and thank you so much. I will take it gratefully. Jean. Oh, Jean, I've been shooting my mouth off about nothing the whole time, but I hope, company just arrived. I hope I'll see you next time. We'll get right back into our routine. All right, Kara, glad you're feeling better. I am feeling better. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. All right, so let's look at some stuff and let's get started. I want to catch up just a little bit before we look at Rug Cooking Magazine, which I am excited to look at. But I haven't seen you for such a long time. There's a few things I wanted to show you first. I'm having an or do I. I wanted to show you some rugs that I picked up. Let's not. Let's do it this week. I want to show you some rugs that I picked up during the time that I was away. While I wasn't with you, I was already having pain, but I was out on vacation and I was back at the Cape one more time with the kids. My friend Linda Ann came with us. And I want to show you some of the great finds I made there, but maybe I'll do that next time because holding stuff up right now might not be good. Let's do this. Let's do as planned, and because we're already running so late. I haven't even opened this yet. Let's open it together. Have you received your copy, the current copy of, I wonder if I can rip this. Let me cut it. Oh, what a baby, huh? Oh, scissors fell under the table. Have you received your copy of Rug Cooking Magazine yet? This is volume number 35, number 2, September, October of 2023. Remember, in the summer, we go 3 months with one summer issue. So it's very nice to come back into fall. You got yours already, Pamela. You got yours, Cindy. Fantastic. Coming out of its packaging right here. It is so nice to get back into the time of year where we are getting a bi-monthly Rug Cooking Magazine, not just a tri-monthly. That's just over summer. Kirsten's got hers. A lot of them have gone out. Good to hear it. You've probably looked at them all yet. I haven't looked at it. I was kind of waiting for us to be together. And let's look at what some of the features are. Maybe you don't subscribe to Rug Cooking Magazine. Might be something you want to think about because, you know, there are only 2 magazines currently that are devoted to our craft. And they are Rug Cooking Magazine, changing glasses here, Rug Cooking Magazine and ATHA Magazine, the Association of Traditional Rug Cooking Artists, right? So there is the guild, the ATHA Guild, where you meet in chapters locally, whatever's closest to you, and separate enterprise, but same organization, is the ATHA Magazine. And for me, I always feel like, and I hope this sounds correct, but I always feel like, for me, the ATHA Magazine is more, in general, more, it feels more like a scrapbook to me, where we're looking at what the different ATHA chapters are doing. We're looking at shared contests, calls for entries, different themes, different subjects. We're looking at shared projects, the results of shared projects, and we're looking at the sort of comings and goings of the different ATHA chapters right across the country. Where ATHA Magazine is more, in my opinion, article driven, and we're looking more at specific subjects, as specific artists, different themes in each issue. So they're quite different magazines all in. Linda, yours arrived today. That is fun. Melanie, you've got yours too. So this month we are looking at this issue, and this Compass Rose design was hooked by my very close friend Rebecca Martin of Storyteller Wool. I did a show with her not that long ago. It was right before I started to really have problems. When she came up to finish her McGowan training, she came up to Sturbridge to do that, and I went and picked her up at the airport, and we ran a show that night. She's one of my very close buddies. When this book came out, she was on the boat in Maine, remember? She was one of the teachers for the Maine boat trip. Off the coast of Maine, they were on this large, what looked to me like a sailboat. Obviously nothing wrong with a sailboat, but just it moves a lot and it bobs a lot, doesn't it? It wasn't a cruise ship by any means. Very fun. It's a yearly thing, and she was one of the teachers for that. She applied for that, and I remember when she got the yes on that, she was very, very happy. She well deserved it, right? She should be teaching everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. She is so, so, so good. She is Oxford certified, and she's also McGowan certified. She's really, really good. She's a very technical worker in contrast to me. It's amazing. We're very, very different in our approach. I think we have the same really deep-rooted love for rug making, for textiles in general. We get along remarkably well. For people that work so differently and are quite different, I just love her so much. And I'm so excited when things are going well for her. So when this magazine came out, I sent her a message because I knew she was on the boat and I didn't know what kind of reception she had. And I said, man, you are the queen. You are the queen. And I sent her a picture holding it. I said, your image is on the cover of Rug Hooking magazine. I am so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. I hope that doesn't sound patronizing. I said, you deserve this. You deserve this. She's just amazing. So let's look at the issue. Let's see what kind of articles are here. Oh, this looks like a lively table of contents. Let's look together. Again, I'm just opening this for the first time. With all the naps I've been taking, I can stand up a little, whoa, stand up a little bit here. All right, so these are the kinds of projects we're looking at this month. All right, and let's look at them one by one and see. Remember, this is September, October. Oh, I also forgot to say that my buddy Shannon Carter came up just over a week ago no, I dropped off the Van Gogh rugs down there. She just came up to visit. She just came up to visit, and it was great to see her and to visit with Linda Ann. And she will be coming. The Van Gogh rugs are currently on exhibit in Delaware, right? She put them up in a library where she is. I don't know if I have that information in the description of this video. I ought to, in case you are local and you weren't able to see the Van Gogh exhibit of our rugs right here in Hartford when I mounted it, but it is now in Delaware. And when it comes back when it finishes up the month in Delaware, she's going to drive them back here, and then I'm going to ship them back. So you know that that's coming up, and we are almost ready to talk about working on our next project. Seriously. So we got a lot of stuff to work on together. Now, let's see, celebration of, okay, so there is a call for entries. With Rug Hooking Magazine, if you're new to the craft or you've just been out of the loop a little bit, I'll just remind you that Rug Hooking Magazine publishes a volume that's called Celebration every year, and it's a celebration of, I'm gonna do it in quotes, the best hooked rugs. Of course, it's the hooked rugs that were chosen, that were voted in. Doesn't mean it's the best. Maybe yours is the best and it's sitting on your frame right now, right? Or it's rolled up in your closet. Maybe yours is the best and we're not seeing that. But certainly in celebration, all of the rugs that they give us every year are exquisite, phenomenal and unique rugs. So the call is out, right? The call for entries, the 2023 call for entries, celebration of hand hooked rugs number 34, right? Volume 34, calling all rug hookers. We invite you to enter your best hooked rug piece completed in 2022 or 2023 for Celebration of Hand Hooked Rugs Volume 34. We welcome all styles and sizes from primitive to fine shading, from traditional to contemporary. The deadline for entries is November 30th, 2023. Entries are impartially and anonymously evaluated by a panel of qualified judges from the rug hooking community. Rugs are judged on technique, color plan, and interpretation of design. Each rug is judged on a numerical scale on its own merit, independent of all other entries. Finalists will be featured in Celebration 34, published in August of 2024. So let's talk about this for a second. I want to emphasize the line that they put in. That line has not always been there, that says that entries will be judged independent of all of the other entries. What does that mean? It means that you send your piece in, right? It's apples and oranges. It's not going to be apples and apples. You send a primitive piece in, and you're thinking, oh, I bet there's a lot of people sending in primitive pieces, and mine is probably not going to be the best one. Number one, it might be the best one. Number two, it might have that crazy je ne sais quoi. It might have that magical thing about it that the other ones don't have. And you're not going to be the person who knows that, are you? Because you made the piece, right? We are the last to be able to look at our own pieces and say, oh, je ne sais quoi. We look at our pieces and see all of the faults and flaws and mistakes and the things we could have done differently, right? Leave it to someone else to decide whether your piece should be in Celebration magazine. Pick the piece that you are the most proud of, right? Even if it is not the piece with the most technical prowess of 22 to 23. Pick the piece. This is my advice. This is my advice, right? I am not Promogown certified. I am not Amy Oxford certified. I am just sitting here as a rug hooker who likes fly by the seat of the pants, wild and free hooking, right? My advice is send in the piece that you like the best. Because if you like it the best, there is something about it, at least to you, right? And if it turns out that other people don't see that same thing, it's a no for now. Who cares, right? We'll do something else within the future. Lots more shows coming up, lots more stuff coming up. We'll share it together. We'll look at it, enjoy it, and appreciate it. But there's absolutely no harm in trying, right? Nothing, 1920 slogan, Depression era slogan, never try, never win, right? So think about it. Think about the best piece that you did between 2022 and 2023 and think, I'm going to give it a shot. Why shouldn't I? You know, I'm going to say it. When I look at Celebration magazine, I don't like a lot of the pieces. I don't personally like a lot. Do I see great merit and interest in all of the pieces? Yes. Do I think all of them are a 10 out of 10, right? Olympic cards for technique? No. Do I think all of them are 10 out of 10 for design? No. But the thing is, there's lots of different judges. They all feel differently. Different things appeal to different people, right? If you don't think that you've been hooking long enough, or you don't think that your pieces are technically fantastic enough, I would really challenge you on that. And I'm going to challenge you on it again and say, just look at what you've got and really think about putting yourself out there. Never try, never win. So let me catch up here for a second. That's so true. My own best critic and worst critic, right? It's just the way we are with ourselves. We look at other people's stuff, and if you are not a complete egomaniac, which I'm sure none of you are, you know, you look at other people's stuff and you think, oh God, that is really good. That's really good. But if you let that stop you from trying or going forward with your own projects, then you are your own worst enemy, right? There's no help for that. Nobody can talk you out of that. You have to just keep going with your own ideas and your own projects. And you have to believe that there is a huge part of the rug making and rug appreciating population, people like me who will look at it and go, okay, so the technique is not fantastic. It's still my favorite piece I've seen so far this year. Right? Technique for me is the last on my list of things I'm looking for. I want to look at it and I want to get a feeling, right? Oh, it reminds me of this, that, or the other. It reminds me of this season, this meal, this trip, this time, this moment. I want to look at it and feel something. And if the technique is not 100% there, I am honestly, it means very, very little to me. I'm not one of the judges, but it means very, very little to me. Hold on while I just turn off this air. Going from hot, cold, hot, cold. I can't blame that on nerves. That's menopause. Hold on one second. Let me turn this off before I completely seize up. Got to, it's like a freezer in here. Hang some bacon behind me or something. I think that's your problem. Well, you know, yeah, it's just a case of going for it. And I'm sure they get a lot of entries. I'm sure they do. But if they haven't seen your stuff, give it a shot. Seriously, give it a shot. Um, yeah, so that's coming up. I also want to say I keep forgetting another important thing, um, a different scale of thing. But to remember how last year I was asked to be the judge for the rug division of the Big E. The Big E is the Big Exposition. It's in Springfield, Massachusetts. It is the largest country fair in this part of the country. It's one of the top 5 largest in the country. And there is a rug division. It was very small last year, and I went and judged. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I loved doing it. There was like 8 rugs there and then a few braided rugs. It was super fun. It was super meaningful. Um, I gave a ton of positive feedback. You're not required to give one blue ribbon, right? You can give quite a few because the way that you grade things, at least on country fair, celebration is different, is for category, if you think the thing falls into, for example, between a 5 and a 6 or an 8 and a 10, they say err on the higher side. And if a person has this many marks that are like 8 and above, then they get the blue ribbon no matter what. There can be 10 blue ribbons. If there's 10 rugs, there can also be 10 blue ribbons. I'm not guaranteeing a blue ribbon. I'm just saying I think that the judging works very well. And I was sort of giving a lot of input about how the judging should work in this case. And I'm the judge again this year. That's what I'm getting at. So if you are at all interested, people can send rugs and have sent rugs from like every country of the world. You don't have to be from Massachusetts or New England to send a rug into the Big E. And it is anonymous, so I will not know that it's yours unless you have such a distinct style that I can tell that it's you. And then I have to admit, you would get preferential treatment, wouldn't you? Because, yeah, my heart would be attached to that rug right out of the gate. And I wouldn't be unbiased. I would be a crappy, biased judge, but in your favor. But in any case, think about sending rugs in either to the Big E, right? You can look up the Big E. It'll come up because it's very big. Look up about sending stuff into them because I go to judge that on, I think it is September 7th, right? It's the same day I fly to Wisconsin. But I do that first thing in the morning. And I would love to see more rugs there this year. And if you don't want to send it as far as Massachusetts, if you're very far away, please be looking on the internet for what your local country fair is and see if you can put a rug there. When you go to country fairs, there's tons of crocheted stuff, there's tons of quilts, but there's no rugs. Can we get our stuff out there? Like put anything out there. It doesn't even have to be new. It's not like the rules for celebration. It doesn't have to have been completed in the last year. It can be an older thing. It doesn't matter. Just put it in, get it in front of people so people are reminded about what rug making is and that it's this great textile craft and a great opportunity to get in there and work on something that is like a tapestry for the wall or the floor or wherever. So be thinking about that because fair season is fast upon us. And that's right, Dave. Dave says, Pamela, being scared and doing it anyway makes you brave. I'm rooting for you. That's so true. There's like a great quote. Who said something like, be scared. Like, be scared, but still do it. It's like, it was maybe a famous politician or something. I read it not that long ago, and I thought, that's like the quote for our entire life, isn't it? Be scared, right? We all are scared all the time, but still do it. You still have to do it, right? You don't have to do it, but being scared is a good indication that you should do it, if you're having that feeling at all, right? So that's coming up. First feature of now wait a minute, I want to see where they put, okay, so it says for the cover piece, Rebecca's piece, I just want to read this because I like to say her name as often as I can because she's my good buddy. This piece is called Where the Wind Blows by Rebecca Martin. For more information about this rug, see page 40. Let's go there first, and then we'll look more toward the beginning. So, oh, excellent. Oh, excellent. Yep. Okay. Very good. This is what the article looks like. So this is Rebecca's piece here. And the article, Setting Sail for New Horizons, text and photography by Elizabeth Miller. So this piece is by Rebecca. And these are past photos, of course, of the boat trip where people go on the boat and they do their hooking projects there. Yes, you did hear I'm coming to Wisconsin. I will, let me take a pause and tell you about that right now. So with all of this going, this is just a sideline in case anybody's out that way. I've been thinking about life, right? I missed solder. I forgot to say that. I missed solder. Linda Ann ended up going back a little bit early. She wasn't feeling great. She's different things. And I didn't have anybody to drive with. And I could not see with the pain that I was in a week or two ago, I could not see driving 12 hours each way. That's without traffic. That's just a straight shot. With my vendor table, all of my stuff, my boxes of books to sign, I just could not see it. I was at a point of napping all of the time and being in horrific pain, and I just couldn't see it. And it was a really tough call. I didn't make the call until like Tuesday, and I was supposed to be there on Friday. That I wouldn't be able to make it. But I saw myself showing up, and even if I had tons of help with people carrying stuff for me, I was in so much pain, active pain. It wasn't like now it hurts, but it's not like a knife cutting from my neck down to my fingers. It's like it's still active. I can feel it all the time, even overnight. But this was something different when it started out and started moving. And I thought, even if I show up there and I get all the help in the world and I love seeing my buddies, I'm number one going to be stupidly emotional because I was in so much pain. It was like hard on the sleeve, crazy emotions coming and going because felt like I was being tortured. And I am not going to be able to have a normal expression on my face like I would like to have when I'm meeting people who I really care about for the first time, right? I knew that I would not be able to be myself and to be normal and to give anybody a hug because anytime anyone came near me, it was like, ooh, 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 uh-oh, because I'm so scared they're going to squeeze me. And it was excruciating. And I just thought, I felt awful. And I'm super sorry if I missed you there. But I thought this is going to be really, really, really hard and probably not a great experience. So I decided not to do that. And when I decided not to do that, I was very, very sad. And I was feeling super disconnected from everybody. And I felt like, oh, I probably just ruined my chance to get anywhere in this business because they finally invited me to do something at Solder and I didn't come. And I know a lot of you were coming because you wanted me to sign the first book that just came out. And I wanted to be there and do that too. I was, you can imagine, super proud, my first book, right? And I wanted to come and sign it. But yeah, I just didn't feel like it was physically possible. And I was just all over the place with pain and emotion. And it was bad, bad, bad. Um, so I started like writing, some of my buddies were writing, and quite a few of my buddies are in Wisconsin. And I was writing back and forth a little bit with Carol and Kaz and Robin, of course. And I thought, you know what? Isn't that Fiber Festival that you keep telling me about coming up the first week of September? Like, this is 3 years that you've said, you should come to the Fiber Festival. And I cover it on Cocktail Time or Coffee Time every year. And I always go, I'm going to try to come next year, and I never come. I thought, man, I'm missing everything lately. As soon as I got this pain under control and I got the doctor's appointment and I got some pills going, and I'm thinking, it hurts, but I can still move around. I can function now, right? And I thought, dang it, I literally got on my phone that day, and you know how scared I am to fly, like horribly scared. I just booked a flight. So I'm headed out there September 7 to 11. I can remember that easily because of the store 7-Eleven, the corner store. So yeah, I'm going to be out there for the Fiber Festival, and I'm going to cover that in person. And we're going to do live shows from the Fiber Festival. That's right, Pamela. That's Sound of Music said it the best way, right? When one door opens, when one door closes, God opens another door or another window, right? And yeah, I just felt like I just wanted to do something else because I was so, so, so disappointed. It wasn't a casual decision to not go to Solder. It was an agonizing decision. And I do feel like I made the right decision because I wouldn't want to go to Solder today. You know what I mean? It's like enough that I wouldn't want to go today even. But yes, Wisconsin's coming up, and we will talk more about there. But I'm flying into Green Bay, and Kaz is picking me up, and I'm going to stay at Kaz's place for I think 3 nights, and we're going to go to the Fiber Festival together and explore. I've never been to Wisconsin. Even when I was a tour guide, we never went through Wisconsin. It's a blackout state for me. So I'm kind of the Fiber Fest. I'm going to have to see where the Fiber Festival is. I don't know if Robin, Carol, or Kaz are on right now because they already know about this plan. But yeah, no, I'll give you more information when I come on Monday. The Fiber Festival is that very weekend. It is the 8th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8, 9, 10. And I think Kaz said, she's near Green Bay. She's like 15 minutes from Green Bay. And I think she said it was like an hour away. I don't know the geography of the state at all. Jefferson County. Thank you, Cindy. So, Robin, you are on. Yeah, so haven't heard of the Fiber Fest. Hope we can meet up with all of you. Yeah, well, I will be there. So I hope so too. We should make a point of it. And Robin said the other day, she's like, hey, maybe this should be a yearly thing that you come out for the Fiber Festival. It's way early in the season before there are other festivals happening. So I thought, well, that sounds like it. That sounds like both a great idea and an invitation. So I might just do that. So yes, that's coming up too, and lots of live shows coming up while I'm there. I hope to. So this article is about, I don't know why I keep using that hand. This article is called Get Hooked, and it is about this great annual trip, again by Elizabeth Miller, this great annual boat trip. And the reason, and so this is what it looks like on the boat. And Rebecca said, she just left me a message, I think it was today. She's back home in Colorado. She's resting, right? Because it's a lot to teach, and it's a lot to teach on a boat in very close quarters. But she had such a great time, and she told me some great stories. I can't wait to hear the rest of the stories. But these photos were from the year before, right? And then this is the project that Rebecca was working on in anticipation of the boat trip this year, which literally just happened this past week. So the whole article is about that trip of a lifetime, people say, and then a whole section on what participants say. Because if it's something you're interested in, it might be something to look at next year because it sells out very quickly, right? Very quickly, because it's such a unique opportunity. So yeah, this article is where her cover photo was positioned. It just looks like, I mean, look at this. This is definitely a sailboat, right? You see that middle picture? People working on different projects. Again, this I think was from the year before. And it looks like they're on land there. Land ho! But they're working on different projects and collecting stuff. It just seems like such a beautiful, gotta go, company just arrived. I will see you next time. Have fun with your company. Never heard of the Fiber Festival either. I'll have to put the word out. Not very far away from Green Bay. Well, then we are going to be very close together. So we have to keep that in mind. Well, I'll talk to Kaz about that too. Because we should get together for sure. That would be a ton of fun. I would love to get together. That's one of my reasons for wanting to go out there is feeling like I lost solder. I'm dying to get together and visit with buddies, right? And yeah, we'll definitely do it. So let's go back to, and I'm really excited too. I'm just in pain, but I won't be. I'll take lots of meds when we get out there. Now, this first feature article is called "Hooking Realistic Still Lifes." This looks great by Carol Corner with a K. My adventures in looking closely at arrangement, color, and light. Let me show you what this article looks like. That is fun, isn't it? Let's look at that in better detail. And I'm going to show you the spelling of Carol Corner with a K. Let me bring it into focus here. It's Koerner. Not doing much to focus, is it? A little bit better there, maybe. This is why I like to do the slides. I'll see if I can get my act together to do slides on Monday. So this text and photography by Carol. She says, I used to hate still lifes. Years ago when I was studying watercolor painting, I thought still lifes were boring, not worth bothering with. I wanted to paint people, or at least more interesting subjects. When I think about the fact that since I began rug hooking 28 years ago, I've hooked 19 still lifes. I'm truly surprised at how much I loved hooking them and how much I've learned in the process. All were my own designs, using mostly mundane things lying around my home. Now, that really is an interesting conversation because if you've taken some of the design light classes with me, for example, Van Gogh, right? He could never, many artists cannot historically have afforded models and people to come in to present something to paint, and they would just have to paint what was already around them, like a lot of still lifes. And you would just put for Van Gogh whatever was there, his shoes, his pipe, whatever, and paint them for practice. Doing your own still life and finding some things from around your home that make a vignette that's meaningful to you is a fantastic idea, right? I would love to do a still life. I know my camera's weird because I'm seated tonight, but with some of my treasures, like treasures that you recognize from behind me, right? All my little churches that I have back there, the little collection, all this stuff, this beautiful thing that Colleen made me. I don't know if I showed you this. Colleen, because I taught the class in multi-strand braiding right before I left. This was between our last show and tonight, multi-strand braiding. Colleen was doing our craft fair. I'm going to have to find out if the craft fair has happened yet. But she got these cedar pieces, right? It's really strong anti-moth cedar. And she painted these little sheep. She said this is the first one that she did, the prototype, and she gave it to me. She made like a little hole through it, and she pushed through the little felt ears, and she's such a great painter. So it's like a little sheep sitting there, Colleen Tiefenthal is Beech Nut Studio, right? That's her brand. She's a fantastic brand of hooking too, but she also does a lot of painting and fun stuff like this. I would love to put some of my favorite things into a nice little still life. What a great idea for hooking something, right? I think it's particularly a great idea in the winter time. Do you know what I mean? Just finding things from about the house, about you, and putting them together, things that are meaningful, that represent different times, different people. It would be a very, very fun. The sheep is adorable. It'd be a very fun exercise. So I like the idea of this realistic hooking. This piece that I showed you was called Food for Thought. It's 12 by 12, so it's quite small. And it's a number 3 cut wool on linen, designed and hooked by Carol Corner of Bethesda, Maryland in 2000. This was the first of my simple still lifes. I stacked up a few books. I added my glasses and an apple. 3 different things of 3 different sizes. That's interesting because then we're talking about a variety of scale, right? And when there's more scale, there's more interest, right? If everything is exactly the same size, you get a multiple, which can be interesting, but then that reads as a repeat pattern. Whereas if you choose things that are different scale, right, they have different weight in the composition, and then they're likely to be more interesting composition. She wrote, in my sketchbooks, I had to remember to keep the directional lines of each book parallel to each other, or I would have had very wonky books. Absolutely. It's tough to get angles like that, isn't it? I mean, once you get it, you get it. Once you get all your lines straight and lined up, you're good. But until that happens, and getting the shadow right, right? This is something that you can do with lighting, and you have all the time in the world if you set yourself up with a little still life on a table, and then you've got your lighting there. Say you're working on a sketch, or you're working on a drawing for it, or you're going to take a photo and then you're going to trace the photo and transfer it directly onto your backing. If you run out of steam that night, you just turn the light off and walk away, and you go back to it the next day, right? It's not like the still life, unless it depends on what's in your still life, gets up and walks away. If it's the Energizer Bunny, it might get up and walk away. If it's your pet cat, it might walk away. But chances are it'll be there in the morning, and you can return to it maybe with a fresher frame of mind. So it looks like Carol went on to work on lots of still lifes over time, including this really difficult monochromatic black and white. And there's the multiples of apples. Those are all the same size and the same color, kind of like the US dollar bill, right? Same size, same color. But so interesting the way that she's done the background, and interesting seeing the leaves on that one apple, right? It's almost like the leader of the parade. Really interesting. Fun things. And this little one, L'Oiseau Rouge, the red bird, 12 by 9, number 3 cut, designed and hooked, again by Carol. This was a fairly simple one, but by the time I hooked this one, I was experimenting with different stitches, and I think I mastered making ceramic objects shine when the light strikes them. So this is like a little ceramic. We all have little knickknacks, right? Around little ceramic things, little pottery things, little chalkware things that we love, little bells, little trinkets. Great to include one of these in a design, and I like how with the L'Oiseau, the red bird, she's got like a pattern in the background of a rug or maybe a table thing or a throw of some kind in the background, and she's experimenting with the different stitches and the kinds of polka dots and things. Great idea to use a still life as an opportunity to work on a sampler. Oh God, and then she gets even more study in copper. She's done, again, monochromatic and reds. That's really something, isn't it? That's really exquisite. Has a bit of a pastel feel to it because of the pull of the reds, right? The pulls of all the reflection. But I wonder if she did some dip dyeing for that one, and the very, very intense red for the red wine bottle. That's interesting about thinking about putting together. I'm not going to show you all of the examples because I want you to be surprised if you haven't looked at your issue yet, or if you haven't gotten your issue yet. I like the idea of how she's saying, different things of different sizes. That's one idea. Ceramic things with a high shine, a high reflection quality. That's another great idea. And then she's doing something that is basically like the copper with that's rosy red kind of, right? And then the red wine bottle. She's doing things with a certain color family in mind. All interesting. She's theming out her still lifes in really interesting ways. Really, really fun. Oh, these are so good. Let me show you one more. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do this, and then I'll save that one on the opposite page, which is also exquisite. But look at the way she's hooked this amazing. Stand up so I can see what you're seeing. Crystal bowl. I'll probably stay on for a few more minutes. My brain is starting to check out. It's like time for more pills. But isn't that gorgeous? That's got light and reflection. You know, she's really practicing within, she's working within a niche, which is still lifes. And she's really practicing and becoming an expert. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to have to share these two. Let me share just this one page. I think you're going to like these. Antique shop canning jars. The piece I'm about to show you is 23 by 16, number 3, cut wool on linen. This is extraordinary. This is my favorite still life hooking, at least so far, and was the most fun and the most complicated to hook. It is definitely all about the sun, the lighting, and the effect of the glass. Again, I did take more than one photograph, but I did not arrange the jars. They were discovered in all their glory on the shelf of an antique store in North Carolina. The shading on the lettering of the blocks of color, the reflections and the views through the glass were just too much to resist. I worked from light to dark, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Look at this. Whoa. Gosh, that like just about makes my toes curl. That's really the reflection of the window. I mean, that really is extraordinary, isn't it? Now, if you're thinking, oh, I could never do this, I mean, obviously, this takes a lot of talent and a lot of planning. This is a very technical piece, right? I think many of us love the subject of canning jars, right? Some of us do the mason jar dyeing, the copper as well. Dave, you like the copper. The crystal bowl, Pamela says, these are just, she likes vessels, without a doubt. She's very good at hooking vessels. This is just extraordinary. My favorite, that was her favorite one. That was Carol's favorite. This is my favorite one. I'm about to show you. She says, um, a sweet, sweet, right? Sweet like candy, sweet like symphony. 37 by 30, number 3 cut wool on linen, designed and hooked by Carol. 2011. This piece is not quite like my other still lifes in that it is actually 9 separate small still lifes grouped together and hung as one piece. Each small hooking of candy was treated the same and photographed the same as I did the larger still lifes. Let's talk about that in a minute. Then the chosen photos were rotated or cropped until, okay, so she's describing her process. She's taking the photo of the, in this case, candy. Let me show it to you and then let's talk it through. Because you might be thinking, I see myself doing this. I'm liking the idea of doing a project like this. Let's talk in great detail about how she's doing it, right? Because she's telling you how she's doing it in this article. Hang on while I bring you in. Camera's not doing too much today. Is the camera having a neurological problem as well? I mean, this really is like, it's got 2 wires attached to it, and you think it would be able to, gosh. I'll take a picture of it and show it to you on Monday. But as you can see, out of focus, the ribbon candy hooking has got to be my favorite. There's peeps, there's peppermints, candy corns, the English licorice, jelly beans, fruit slices. What are these guys? I don't know. These are some kind of heart candy. I don't know those guys. And the conversation hearts, but really pretty, sort of sweet, sweet, right? Like a medley of all these. And they're all separate pieces. They're not attached. They're hanging independently on the wall. So what she's saying is, for example, if you were going to do chocolates, oh, of course it is. Thank you. Of course it is. Thank you. God, what a ding dong I am. Absolutely beautiful. And it's connected by a theme, right? It's got a bit of a story to it. For example, if you were like, I would also like to do a suite of sweets. And just as an example, you were to go to a candy store and you bring your camera in or your phone and you take tons of pictures. Then what you're doing is, she's saying, well, she's looking at the pictures afterward. She's cropping them, right, to get each one to be the best composition. And in some cases, she's rotating them. You know how when you go into your photo editor, you can rotate, you can turn things one way or the other just a hair. If you have the program called paint.net, you can do even more stuff. You can go into layers and you can rotate something that looks like this, right? If somebody sometimes sends me a photo like this for a book or a coffee time, I go into Paint by Net and it's magic, but it actually does this to it. And you can never tell that it stretched it. It's like this incredible thing that Paint.net can do. So these computer programs are just remarkable how well they work and how many tricks they can do for you. So you go in there with whatever kind of level of technical skill that you have, and and you rotate them, you get them all right, you hook them up the way that you want them, and then in this case, she's put them together on the wall in order. So she's made decisions at many crossroads for what the crops would be. Like, for example, the peeps, very geometric, right? It looks almost like a pattern design, almost like an Escher. The ribbon candy is an odd crop, right? It's an odd shape. She probably knew that she would want to use that on the corner. Some of these are what I would call scatter, right? These four are what I would call scatter. The chocolates too, just a mix of things, just a cross section. The fruit again, because they have a really dominant shape. The placement of that is gonna matter a lot. Right, here we are with the fruit. I'm reversed to you on my camera, and yeah. So she made decisions about how to crop, how to turn them, what exactly the composition would look like. And then once she hooked them all, she made one more decision, and that was the placement of them in relationship to each other. So that's how she hung them up on the wall in the end. Let's look at one more article, and then I am going to hit it because I am starting to feel super droopy. But I'm doing better than I thought I would, to be honest. So, hooray! Good sign, right? Good sign. You keep me going. You keep things going. Honestly, it's not. If I was sitting here, I'd have my head on the desk crying or napping at this point. So us being together is a good thing. Let's keep going. I will run a show on Monday for sure. Let me just check. Let me just check before I say that. What's happening Monday? First day of school. I will be with you on Monday. Hopefully, I won't be crying about something different then. I hate it when they go off to school. So I'll be with you. My plan is to be with you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. And just a reminder, Friday night is gallery night. So please send in the pieces you've been working on so we can look at those together next Friday, a week from today. This next article is called Child's Play. And this is by Linda Peets. And this article is about, here, let me show you this cute close-up. You probably have a good clue about what the article is about so far, right? There we go. It's hard to focus a photo of a photo, you know. This is the final rug. So this article is about adapting children's art for a hooked rug project. Text by Linda Peets. Every child. This is a quote by Pablo Picasso, who was such a bastard, but once in a while said things that were quite nice and uplifting. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. That is the thing, isn't it? Because all of that creativity and all of that bravery gets stripped away from you as time goes on. I see this all the time. It happened just in the last 48 hours. It happened twice that I got super triggered and sad because my son Teddy, who is autistic but he's very high functioning, as you know, most of you know him. Um, we were at our buddy's house the other night. We were riding around on go-karts and stuff, and he wanted to take a turn driving, and he took a turn driving, and he didn't really know how to do it. And to be fair, nobody had really told him, but he stopped short, and then it was like, oh no, okay. The other kid was like, oh, no, I'm afraid you're going to break it, and I could just tell by his face that he was like mortified, embarrassed, ashamed, just like one of these things, right? And I thought, man, that was one of the reasons I took him out yesterday, even though I wasn't having a great health day yesterday. Took them out to this place because they had go-karts there, and I thought, let me put him right away into a go-kart so he can have another go and give it a try. And he did great. He did great. He was. I filmed him the whole time he was driving. He was super happy, and I thought, good. Maybe we kind of reverse engineered that experience because those kinds of experiences, right, they add up over time. And as they do, they take little bits and pieces of the person away, right? A little bit of confidence gets chipped away. A little bit of that feeling, that invincible feeling gets chipped away. A little bit of that self-assuredness gets, all stripped. And that's, I mean, I look for that like a hawk with my kids because I know what that feels like when you feel like things are stripped away and then you get to a point where you're just waiting in life for something big to happen, like you're changing to middle school or you're changing to high school or you're changing colleges because you get a chance to reinvent yourself again because you feel like you screwed it up so much, right? I bet a lot of people have had this experience. You feel like you screwed it up so much and you think the only way to get a fair whack at it again is if I start again. And we put ourselves into new jobs, into new places, into new houses, into new places to live to get the chance to start again. Because at the end of the day, we were probably very complete when we were just little kids like this. But then all this stuff happened, and for some more than others, right? And you can't measure it. It doesn't have a shape. It takes, it's like the Mayflower. It's like the Plymouth Rock, right? All those years of people chipping at it, and now it looks like the size of like a paperweight, It's the way life is. Picasso put the nail on the head when this is one of my favorite quotes of his. I do love his work. I just think he could have been a bit of a better person with a little bit more integrity. But this is a great article about having a budding artist in your life and using the work of that artist, sketches that children do, to incorporate into your finished pieces. So a sketch like this, which is an extraordinary sketch, right? I mean, nobody would think that was an adult's drawing. That's clearly a children's drawing. But luckily, the medium that we work in, rug making, it lends itself very, very well, because it's such a naive craft, or it can be, to doing things that are inspired and drawn by children. And this is a great example of one that is finished. So this is the final rug that Nola did using her granddaughter Hadley's work, adding some more elements that she drew in at a later date, such as the sea turtle. And that's a great point too. Sometimes, Joss does a lot of designing for me, and sometimes she draws something, and she'll draw something, for example, like this, and I'll say, what else are you going to put in it? And she'll say, well, that's it. And I'll think, well, you might not know this, but 4 times at art school, and I'm here to tell you that the negative space is a problem. Not a huge problem. We can work with it, but I feel like we need to do something with it, whether it's patterning or color shifting or color blocking, or actually populating the empty negative space with some more pictures or shapes or figurative stuff that we can recognize. And sometimes it takes a few passes with kids. Sometimes with my own kids' work, they'll draw something. Teddy draws too. I'm going to make some of his stuff for Halloween, because he does a lot of like horror figures from video games that he likes. And sometimes I draw it, and it's to me, it's their work, and of course I love it 100%, but I think it could be even better. So let me be sneaky, and let me put a piece of tracing paper on top of the drawing, and let me add something from one of their other drawings. And 9 times out of 10 when I do that, like even Jocelyn, who's a bit of a tough sell, she'll be like, oh, I didn't want anything but the giraffe in there. And then I'll be like, well, do you like this other character in the background, whatever it is, or the shooting star? 9 times out of 10 she does, because she sees that it works better, right? She's little and she doesn't know the rules of composition yet, but she can tell when something's good. And she'll go, oh yeah, no, that's good. And she knows it's all her work, so it's all fine. Why is my camera drooping? My camera's drooping and I'm drooping at the same time. This is a great article, though. Let me try to get us straightened up a little bit again. It might droop. We're all drooping. We're all drooping. So it's a really cute article about line drawing and the pieces coming to fruition, right? These beautiful works of children, most precious work coming to fruition. Color pictures like this, too. So what a great article. It just reminds you, whether you have a child in your life or a buddy, a neighbor, they do the most amazing work, right? Sweet, folky, naive work. I'm just finishing a bit about this I'm going to return to the magazine on Monday. I'm just doing a bit on Paul Klee. I'm finishing up the Paul Klee chapter in the Design Like book. And one of the things that I'm doing, I probably mentioned this to you, but definitely if you took the Design Like Paul Klee class with me. And by the way, I will be touching ground with the Henri Rousseau, because that's the next one, and I put it off, and then I had all this trouble. That is coming, and I have been working on it. So I will set dates for that. Don't think I've forgotten. That is coming. And it's going to be fantastic, because he's very folky. But when I was doing the Paul Klee, one of the things that came up often was the idea of making a scratch board and sketching that way, meaning taking a piece of paper and coloring it with crayons or crayons. This is going to drive me nuts that this is slanted. Sorry, that's going to drive me nuts. I know it's the end of the show, but it's one of these things. Crayons or crayons, right, and just covering a paper, even a printer paper, with all of the colors. The more colors, the better. The closer they are, the more often the colors change, the better. And then you're just painting over the top of it with black acrylic paint, right, opaque. And then you take something sharp, like the tip of a knitting needle, or like a little cuticle thing from a nail, something sharp. Even a pencil, maybe that the lead's not there, because you don't want the lead to get involved in the party. But maybe the lead's broken, or one of those retractable pencils, the orange ones, the Paper Mates without the lead in it, just using the tip of something sort of sharp and drawing into your piece, and then the colors pop up behind it. And probably the colors that you chose are colors that you like already, right? So that part's good. And then you sketch over it, and it's just remarkable how different. It's like reverse sketching, isn't it? Because you're reversing something light onto something dark. It's called intaglio. So it's kind of the reverse of what we normally are used to looking at. And it's sometimes remarkable, even putting a few lines down that are simple lines, you go, oh, well, there's not much there, but it already looks like a really promising composition, right? A sketch for a really promising composition. So something else to think about, right? Oh, thanks, Jane. You're giving the thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't quite make it to the end tonight. I like to run a 2-hour show on Fridays, and we definitely will next Friday night for gallery night. I will not let you down no matter what, even if I have to double up on pills and stuff. I might be talking crazy, but I will be there really enjoying and looking at all of those great gallery pieces. Send your gallery pieces to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com for next Friday gallery night. And this week on Coffee Time, Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing the conclusion of, and we're not looking at everything, but we'll look a little bit more at this issue, the current issue of Raw Cooking Magazine. And we'll be looking at some of the treasures that I've gotten over the last month that I have not seen you very often at all. I've gotten quite a few treasures from markets that have given me some great ideas. Make sure that you are ordering your advent calendar if you don't have it yet. Believe me, you are going to be so disappointed when we get going and we're looking at tons of projects and we're working on them together. It'll be great to have the supplies to work on them with us. And certainly you add your own supplies, and there's lots of opportunities to use your stash for stuff too. But many of these patterns are exclusive to the project box, the Autumn Advent Calendar, and it is going to be so much fun. I honestly cannot wait for all that to get started. It's going to be a great party the entire month of September, and it's going to take us right up to October, which last year was one of our favorite months, doing some spooky stories, doing some sort of mystery stuff, doing a little new agey, looking at tarot cards and that kind of design, pulling from all kinds of different sources that had to do with pagan festivals, as well as just the scientific changing of the color of the leaves, right? All manner of things we did in October last year. I think we had a very good month. We're set up to repeat that again, heading right into fall and the holidays. And as I say, I'm almost done with the second book project. And you know that you know me, right? So you know I'm already working on something else. But I'm not talking about it, and I'm not agreeing or signing anything until I'm X amount of the way through it, so that I don't have the devil on my back for a third time in a row, and I can do things on my own time in case something like this happens and it totally waylays me. But lots of projects for us all to get involved in together. I will see you on Monday. In the meantime, have a great Saturday and Sunday. Good luck if your little ones or your grandkids or your neighborhood buddies are going back to school. Give them an extra big hug. It is so scary and hard to be a little one and to present yourself at school. Here I am in the clothes that my parents bought me. They're not necessarily clothes I like, but I present myself and I'm hoping for the best. It's such a scary time of year for these little ones. So good luck if you are experiencing that too. And I will be with you Monday as soon as I drop my little buddies off at school for the first time this year. Have a happy weekend, everyone. And thank you. I will, Judy. And I will see you soon.